I'm with regular contributor Aamer Khan right now. And Aamer, you prepared a trivia game out of the blue that really caught me off guard. And I have no clue what to expect. We have some time here. You want to take it over? Take it from here, Game Master?
Sure. I thought it'd be fun to just go over a couple of interesting books in a different way. We all love the rapid fire review, but I thought this trivia game would be an interesting way to go through some of the books that I've come across in my book journey. So there's only a few questions, and it's more for fun than anything else. This is not sort of a hard quiz thing. It's much more for fun than anything
There's
else.
nothing on the line other
Nothing
than
on the
pride.
line, and no expectation as for people to actually know the answers. This is more for fun and to talk about books in a different sort of way. So I thought
So
it'd be
you have
interesting.
7 questions. What do you consider as a passing grade?
Again, like I said, this is just for fun, so I won't be
Okay.
keeping score. We'll just go question by question, and
Okay.
yeah, do it that way. So question number 1, Fowl Play is a book. The title is spelled Fowl, Fowl Play, and all the questions are multiple choice. And which author wrote Fowl Play? I'll give you a hint that the book is about a local news anchor that's replaced by a chicken, an actual live chicken. So, hence the title, Foul Play. Answer option A is Gordon Korman. Option B is Janet Ivanovich. Megan Quinn is the third. Nora Roberts is the fourth. So A, B, C, and
I'm gonna say C. Megan Quinn.
I'm sorry. The answer is Janet Ivanovich. Although Gordon Korman did have a book called The Chicken Can't Skate, or Chicken Doesn't Skate.
Okay, chicken related. Okay, see, you threw me off base here.
But Janet Ivanovich's book is just a really lighthearted rom-com, as you can imagine, about a local news anchor who's replaced by a chicken. But light and
Fowl.
book.
What does fowl mean? Fowl. Is it a baby chicken? No. What is a fowl?
Fowl is a type of chicken, yes. Fowl
A type of chicken. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's
I'm just
basically the
familiar with the type that you eat.
Classification, yes. Fowl, type of bird, basically.
Okay, not off to a good start. What's number 2?
Number 2 is a much more serious book. It's called The Queen of Paris. And the question is, what is the Queen of Paris about? What's the synopsis? So we have some answer options here, 3 of them. Option A is the life and times of French fashion model Laetitia Casta. B is the story of Celine Dion, who does not need any explanation. Or C, the story of Coco Chanel.
It's definitely not B. I know that Celine Dion sang on top of the Eiffel Tower for the Olympics in 2024. That doesn't mean she was the queen of France for anything more than 10 minutes. It has to be A. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. It's
Coco Chanel.
Times of Coco Chanel. Yeah, fashion icon, the Queen of Paris. Laetitia Casta is a French model, but I don't know if she even has a memoir. It was an excellent book. I reviewed it on Audiobook Review a few weeks ago, but it's basically a historical, slightly fictionalized account of Coco Chanel, but done in a very realistic way. So an excellent novel, Queen of Paris.
Okay, yo, this trivia game is like a stealthy recommendation list. This is really good, dude.
It is.
All right, number 3.
I thought I'd be a little sneaky today. The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes is a book. What is it about? A, how David Foster discovered famous singers. B, the story of how Texas Rangers got their stars. C, the story of female librarians on horseback. Or D, the story of female astronomers in ancient Greece.
I'm saying D, ancient astronomers.
Good guess, but no. It's actually also a slightly sneaky question, because it is female librarians on horseback.
The Giver of Stars. I guess sometimes the title is like a metaphor, an allegory or something.
Yeah,
it's not so literal.
This one was really hard. I would never have guessed the book was actually about that, but it was a sort of a strange initiative by Eleanor Roosevelt to make America more literate back in her time. So there was an actual federal grant to basically hire female librarians on horseback to bring books to rural areas in America where cars didn't go.
Jeez.
Also, I think narrated by our favorite narrator, Julia Whelan. So,
Shout out. She gets so much love on the show. Next question.
The Rose Code by Kate Quinn is about what? It's a romance novel with a backdrop of a greenhouse, a spy thriller set in Rose's France, a novel about female code breakers during the Second World War, or D, a novel about females, Italian spies in the Second World War.
3 female code breakers in the Second World War. I know that was a thing. Yes. Nice. Finally, was it a good book?
Correct. It is about female code breakers in the Second World War in Britain. Fun fact, they used to call it BP because it also shared the same name as British Petroleum, so it was double coded for those people that worked there. Worked at BP and everybody thought it was British Petroleum, but it was actually Park, which is where they used to do the code breaking.
Okay.
Also, Kate Quinn is also the same author as Diamond Eye, which was about a Russian female sniper that comes to the U.S. and becomes friends with Eleanor Roosevelt from that time period.
Eleanor Roosevelt getting involved with everything, eh?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Question number 5. The Husband Trap by Tracy Ann Warren is a historical novel set in Regency England in Victorian times, I assume. In The Husband Trap, what is the trap? First option is A, the bride actually sends her twin sister instead of herself to get married to the guy. The couple fall in love when the wife gets caught in a snowstorm and has no other option but to take refuge in the man's house. The groom is given the choice of prison or marrying the guy's daughter after he loses a game of cards. Or D, how a bride catches her husband in a lie that he is actually rich and not poor.
I feel like this whole trivia game is a trap. I have to say A, the bride sends her twin sister.
Yes, you got that one.
That's
right.
it? Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Okay,
Well done.
not too chat. What am I?
Fun fact is-
2 for 5 right now.
Fun fact is, though, that all of those are Tracy Ann Warren books. All
Wow,
the answers.
prolific.
All the answers. Yeah.
Next.
There's a husband trap, there's a wife trap, there's all sorts of books, but yeah. Number 6 in Elude, which is a elite mafia series book, which I've reviewed before. It's mafia romance, I guess would be the easiest way to describe that character. The wife wakes up her husband the first day by doing what? Option A is playing Van Halen on all the house speakers. B, fitting him with cement shoes. Filling his Italian loafers with wedding cake. Or banging pots and pans with a baseball bat to wake him up.
I feel like 3, filling the loafers with cake isn't exactly the most disruptive thing. Cement shoes is too stereotypically Italian. It has to be A, playing Van Halen.
No, sorry. You eliminated almost all the choices, but it was actually D. Yes, it was a classic baseball bat on the pots and pans to wake him up in the morning the day after the wedding. So Elude is actually an interesting and my favorite one out of the Elite series. And I've asked you to read the synopsis for this particular book because it's one of the most interesting synopses I've ever seen on Sela in terms of a book. So I'll let you do that.
Whoever wrote the synopsis for this book, Elude, deserves a raise because they basically wrote a poem. Listen to this. 24 hours before we were to be married, I offered to shoot her. 10 hours before our wedding, I made a mockery of her dying wish. 5 hours before we were going to say our vows, I promised I would never love her. 1 hour before I said I do, I vowed I'd never shed a tear over her death. But the minute we were pronounced man and wife, I knew I'd only use my gun to protect her. I'd give my life for hers. I'd cry, and I would most definitely lose myself to a dying girl, a girl who by all accounts should have never been mine in the first place. I always believed the mafia would be my endgame, poisoning my heart while it claimed my soul. I never could have imagined it would have been my redemption or the beginning of something beautiful, the beginning of her The End of Us. That was the most high effort synopsis I have ever seen.
Yeah, usually I have issues with CELA synopsis in terms of summaries, but this one I was like, wow,
That's
that's
kind of
really
awesome.
it's kind of awesome, and
Maybe it
it
was
really
ChatGPT.
intrigues you almost in every sentence of that synopsis, and you like, okay, got to read this book now. So
All right, you have one more question here.
I have one more question, and it is also a fun one. The in the book, The Capital of Dreams, the main character has an animal friend throughout the book. What animal is her friend? Is it A, canary, B, a goose, C, a dog, D, a cat?
It has to be a canary because there's like that metaphor of the canary in the coal mine. That seems like something an author would do. Oh no, okay,
Oh,
wow, this is
close, but
sick.
it's a
I
very
overthought
it's
it.
a goose. It's a
It's a
goose.
goose.
It's a
Okay,
goose, and
okay.
it's done very, very well. This book I found on CBC's list of books to be hopeful, or books that are designed to be hopeful. It's sort of a strange choice for that because this book is like on a dystopian landscape where the main character is sort of going through a war-torn country, and her country is getting torn apart, and she's basically trying to survive and find her way. Um, and then comes across this goose in the early part of her travels and is
Mm.
her companion. So, like an interesting book for sure. And it is hopeful towards the end, but it's a melancholy type of hope. So,
What's the name of the book again for everyone?
The Capital of Dreams.
The Capital of Dreams. Perfect.
Indeed.
I'm going to make sure all those books are included in the podcast and video description on YouTube. All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for putting together this trivia game. This was super unexpected, but always really fun when we get something out of the blue like this. I always appreciate when you come on the show.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.